A couple years ago, I had the pleasure of playing through the Lunar games. That's Lunar the Silver Star and Lunar Eternal Blue. And if you've seen my videos on either games, or if you've seen my video about my favorite JRPG series, you know how much I fucking love, fucking love the Lunar games, and how genuinely excited I am for the remasters, solely so I can have them on my shelf. And what I love about the series is how simple the stories are. Both of them, the first game in particular, really feel like fairy tales where, true love is conquering all, and you've got these over-the-top hammy villains that are the forces of darkness, but they're defeated by true love and shit. It's kind of wonderful. And I don't think there's anything wrong with simple storytelling, so long as the story is being told effectively and that everyone is likable enough. And I think what makes it effective is how sincere it comes across, how fun the set pieces are, and just how funny the ding dang thing is. And for me, if the Lunar games are a fairy tale, Thousand Year Door is a Saturday morning cartoon. And it is a pretty fucking great Saturday morning cartoon. So here's our premise. Our main character travels the world with a sassy female sidekick, a world-class thief, a reformed villain, and an old but extremely powerful authority figure to collect several mystical MacGuffins that will cast the world in darkness if they fall into the wrong hands. And our heroes do so well in their journey of collecting the MacGuffins that the villain partway through just gives up, lets the heroes collect the MacGuffins for them so they can kind of steal them all in one fell swoop. By the way, that wasn't actually me describing Thousand Year Door. That was me describing Jackie Chan Adventures. Even almost specifically, the whole Shadowcon mask arc. If you remember that I don't feel like I had to go super deep in the bag of references for that one, but that's just because Jackie Chan Adventures is near and dear to my heart. So, let me try again. We have a self-proclaimed evil genius collecting magical MacGuffins so that he can rule the world while acting under the behest of a shadowy, purpley ghost lady that plans on betraying him. Meanwhile, our heroes are traveling the world to also gather these MacGuffins, lest the ancient evil resurface. And yeah, also wasn't Thousand Year Door, that was Shaolin Showdown. But do you see what I mean? It really does sound like a Saturday morning cartoon. So let's actually now describe Thousand Year Door. Princess Peach sends Mario a magical treasure map before she gets captured by the X-Nauts. And yeah, I can't help but do the Wakanda Forever when I see them do their thing. But she gets captured by the X-Nauts, an evil organization that of course want to take over the world. The map guides Mario around the world to recover the crystal stars. These are our MacGuffins, which will unlock the eponymous Thousand Year Door and reveal its supposedly grand treasure. Along the way, Mario meets colorful characters who undergo important arcs that I think kids can relate to or hopefully glean something from. Going into them here. You've got Goombella, someone who learns about the world and its history, gets to see all these new places, and gets to scratch her itch for adventure. You get Koops, who learns to be courageous and to start loving himself and believing in himself. Flurry is someone who learns that there's nothing quite like her own passions, and even though she's taken a nice break and gotten to relax, she longs to return to the stage because that's where she belongs. Gonzo, which is what I named the baby Yoshi. I fucking love Gonzo. Gonzo learns that violence is awesome and never backs down. That basically is his entire character, and it's great. Vivian learns self-respect and is able to become confident in who she is, and also is able to identify and break away from toxic relationships. Bobbery learns to stop blaming himself for something he had no control over and can heal his broken heart. Tech learns what it means to love and carries out the ultimate sacrifice. And I don't have anything to say about Ms. Mouse because I actually didn't get her in this playthrough. I just always found it really interesting how she's in the first 3 chapters. It's okay, this is a recurring character. It seems that they're setting up a party member. And while they do, if you don't fuck with that side quest, you just never see her again about halfway through. I don't know, I find it kind of interesting. And meanwhile, while I feel like we have heroes who, like I was saying, I think kids can get something from, and find something in themselves and whatnot. Our villains are just the right combination of menacing and cartoonish that I think kids could really enjoy. I fucking enjoy them. I love our antagonists in this game. But Grotus, Crump, and the Shadow Queen all have distinctive evil laughs, and Crump's buh, buh, buh is shit I quote all the time. Like, I fucking love that. And then even Bowser has his own iconic laugh, and it's great. But I do think there's also some kind of lessons here from our antagonist. Hooktail is a bully, but like a lot of bullies, she crumbles when she's stood up against. Rockhawk is a cheat who can't win against real talent and hard work. Grubba is a southern gentleman who uses his charm and aw shucks kind of demeanor to hide the monster that he really is. Dope. I'm sorry, I love Dope. There's a scene in chapter 6 where he's with the Shadow Sirens and they all like teleport out of the room, and Dupless can't do that, so he has to jump out a window, and you see a hole already in the windows because they could teleport in. He had to break the window to get in and has to do it again on the way out. He cracks me up. But Dopeless is a copycat who only succeeds by mimicking others, and he can't stand under his own power. Cortez is actually a pretty chill dude once you get to know him and you kind of work out your issues. Beldam is a toxic relationship that you are better off leaving. Crump is a blowhard, but he's an idiot and he's not worth worrying about. Grotus is an asshole boss whose overambition bites him in the ass. And the Shadow Queen is an apocalyptic monster who will let you serve her for all eternity if you play your cards right. And I always make sure to get that ending because I think it's just so funny. Here's the force of darkness that you're trying to stop and the horrible things that she has done and been responsible for and that Grotus has done, to try to get her here. And you say, fuck it, I'm going to join you. And I took a screenshot of the game over from that and sent it to my buddy, who's like a really big 1000-Year Door fan, and his response was just like, that's it. That's what we've been fighting for the whole time. And I was cracked up reading it. It's a story where no one actually dies. It's a story where true love saves the world. You get Peach like giving up her energy to give it to Mario. Like, it is a very true love kind of moment. Complexity is sparse, but charm is in abundance. I love 1000-Year Door. But it is a game, so let me go over the gameplay like super quick. It's fun. It's really fun. I finished the game with 5 HP, 45 FP, and 70 BP. I can't say almost exclusively badge points because I did have to do FP every now and then. But doing low health, high BP is an incredibly fun run. I did the pit after chapter 4. I did Wacka after chapter 5. Prince Mush I did right before the Shadow Queen because I just was not getting him available. After doing, like, the game up until the pit, I think is really fun. The pit is super fun. It's hard as fuck. And after the pit, aside from Wacka and Prince Mush and the Shadow Queen, the game was just kind of a joke. Because I have the bump badge, so I'm just running into shit and immediately killing it. But I didn't mind that because, number one, I've played the game before. Like, this is specifically me playing the remake, but I played the original on the GameCube before and I absolutely loved it. So I didn't feel like I was really missing out on anything. It was just like, cool, I did the hardest shit in the game already. I can just kind of chill and speed run everything else. And it was kind of nice. I enjoyed that. What else did I want to say? I think that's pretty much it. So now just what I want to do is just kind of go over every chapter in order, or excuse me, not in chronological order, in my ranking, starting with my least favorite and ending with my favorite, and why I feel that way that I do. So starting from my least favorite, this is Boggly Woods. I think it has a great aesthetic. I will always call them the Shadow Sirens. I know here it's the like 3 shadows or whatever. Shadow Sirens sounds so fucking cool. But it introduces the Shadow Sirens. You get Crump in there. Crump is always fun. And I do like I don't know if it's supposed to be puny or poony. Poony is more how it's spelled, but because it has an I, I guess if it was a Y, it'd still be puny. Anyways, the little like Microsoft Clippies, like I kind of like them. I find them kind of endearing, but I'm not big on the party member. Like, I don't hate Flurry, but I just don't use her that much in kind of either playthrough. as much as I enjoy Crump, I wish there was a more unique antagonist for this chapter, which we kind of have with the dragonflies, but you don't get a boss with it. Especially because not only is Crump a recurring character, but we fight him in the Magnus Von Grapple on the moon anyways. And the mechanic of dragging the Microsoft Clippies everywhere, I don't like it. There's a lot of backtracking. It's not, I'll be honest, Boggly Woods is not as bad as I remember it being in the GameCube original, but I still don't really like it. Moving on, then we get to Poshley Heights, which for me has kind of similar problems. Number one, while we have a unique antagonist, I suppose, with the Smorg, it just shows up out of nowhere. It's not like, oh man, like here's Dupless or, I'm blanking on characters I just named, like Hugtail or Grubba, where there's presence or a lot of personality. It's just a thing that shows up at the end. It's kind of whatever. The dungeon feels really short. Granted, this was after I had done the pit and could just kind of like blitz through everything. But even then, like, is it Keyhole Key? Keyhole Key? I feel like I always kind of get it backwards. That still felt like this is a whole ass dungeon. And then when I did the moon, I was still like killing everything by running into it. The moon is a whole ass dungeon. This was just kind of like a little, like a slight breeze. It's like a slight stroll. It wasn't anything too crazy, which isn't awful. Poshley Heights is a more low-key chapter, but it feels less memorable for me for that reason. And also, there is no new party member introduced. I will put it, I do have it higher than Boggly Woods because of just how funny it is. Glitzville is more of an actual mystery than the actual detective chapter, but I am a sucker for detective novels or like detective stories. Shout out to fucking reading Umineko a couple years ago. Sorry, I was looking at my notes. There is a joke in there. It's that Pennington does not have detective authority. The first time I played this game, I fucking hated Poshley Heights. I know I have it super low, but I still enjoy it. I thought Pennington was so annoying and so insufferable. This time through, I was cracking up anytime this dude said anything. And also, just like in Chapter 8, there is a non-standard game over, like, if you read the Ghost Diary, and I think it's so fucking funny. And this also is the scene of Dupless jumping out the window. It cracked me up. Next, I have Chapter 7, which is the Far Outpost and the Moon. I think the Far Outpost part just fucking sucks. The General White quest is, I think it's more annoying than it is charming. This game made it better by having the, kind of like the warp zone, because I don't believe that was in the GameCube version. It makes it a lot easier and less annoying, but it's still annoying in concept. I'm not huge on backtracking. The chapter definitely picks up when you go to the moon. I think it's a fun dungeon. It's a more kind of Resident Evil-y dungeon with like getting all the keys and such. It's a lot like Hooktail's Castle, and I do think Hooktail's Castle is a very fun dungeon. It's, unlike what I was saying with Boggly Woods, I think it's very fitting here for Crump to be the boss and fighting the Magnus Von Grapple. I really like Tech's final scene. Yes, I think it'd be more impactful if he stayed dead, but look, I'm not going to fight it that much. It's a Saturday morning cartoon, and I like my boy Tech. I'm going to give him that one. I think the strengths of the chapter definitely make it higher for me than Boggly Woods and Poshley Heights, but it does have some weaknesses that keep it from being higher. So now we're at Chapter 5, just Keyhole Key, which in my original playthrough of the GameCube version, this was in my top 2, and I think I kind of had it at number 1. I was surprised to not have it as high. And I feel like it's less that, man, the chapter's not as good as I remember. And some of the other chapters I liked a lot more than I thought I was going to. And yeah, the first note I have is like, man, it feels wrong having it this low, but I don't think I can really have it higher. There's no real cons to it. And I liked that because of the bump badge, it was just kind of a quick jaunt. And I enjoyed it. I think the dungeon is really fun. I think the crew is all right. I love Crump being there. And there is a scene where he breaks the fourth wall and just talks to the player like, hey, if you like, don't go telling Mario or I'll get you. Which, yeah, feels like a very Saturday morning cartoon thing to happen. I love Flavius so much. I don't have a ranking of like my favorite characters in the game. Maybe I should make a tier list, like 1,000-Year Door character. I think Dupless would probably be at the top. I fucking love him. Bobbery is my baby boy. I think Cortez is a lot of fun, and I enjoyed kicking his ass with Gonzo. Like every time, like it was our turn, Gonzo just did 20 damage, which is Cortez's health. So, like Cortez just didn't get to do shit. It was really fun. Like I said, like there's no real cons to chapter 5. There's a lot of really good shit. I did just feel like I enjoyed the remaining chapters more. So going over them, the next one on the list, so this is the top 4, I believe, is the Palace of Shadow, so that's chapter 8. It's just the final dungeon, but that's kind of all it needs to be. I really like the room with like the torch and the doors, where if you go, I think it's, you have to follow where the flame is lit. Otherwise, you'll just like start over. I think that's really fun, and the game doesn't exactly tell you how you have to figure it out. You just kind of have to intuit it, and I really enjoyed that. The like fucking around in the gear rooms I think was cool. I really liked the tower room and like all the different keys and like the different bullshit. It's also a boss rush, and I love me a good boss rush. I think Gloomtail is neat. It's like it's doing Hooktail again, and I guess in a way kind of wouldn't say he really foreshadows Bonetail, but it's kind of like, oh shit, I recognize this boss. And if you've done the pit, I fought the harder version of this boss. I like fighting the Shadow Sirens plus Dupless. I think that's really fun. Grotus and Bowser back to back, I think is an incredibly fun fight. So there's 2 fights with Bowser in this game. There's one in Glitzville and there's the one here. And both times I just started grinning and locked the fuck in and just jump on Bowser's dumbass. It was so fun. I also think, yeah, the fight with the Shadow Queen is really fun. The non-standard game over is really fun. I think it's an incredible climax. In the top 3, we have Petalburg. I was actually really surprised how much I enjoyed this chapter, but I think it just leaves a really good first impression. I think the quiz show is fucking hilarious. I think the castle is a really fun dungeon, and Hooktail is that right combination of being very funny and very menacing at the same time. I think Koops has a really solid arc, and watching him stand up to Hooktail and literally spend the entire fight styling on her, because man, I was getting really good at stylish moves throughout this whole playthrough, which there was a few I knew and could execute in the original game, but here I really enjoyed finding new shit. But yeah, having Koops go from like, I can't do this, I'm too scared, to styling on her and breakdancing during the fight is really, really satisfying. And I think that's why I like Petalburg as much as I do. It's not that Koops is my favorite party member, but I really like his arc. And I feel like the way the boss fight unfolds made the arc feel incredibly satisfying. So now my top 2, here's where we get Glitzville, which also from playing the GameCube version was also in my top 2. I do think there are problems. Number 1, I think the pacing is kind of off. The fact that there's 20 fights, I think I had said this in some of my CTT videos. I think if you had trimmed it from 20 fights to 15, it would have flown. I think the flow would have been a little bit better. Because after a while, it started getting a little stale. But everything else fucking rules. I love the side characters. You got my boys, Bandy Andy, King K. I love Grubba. I love his fight so much. I think it's super fun. I do love his character. Gonzo is my favorite party member. Well, I say he's my favorite party member, and I know he's my favorite party member. I can make a very solid case for the next character to be my favorite party member, but it's probably Gonzo. He was my most used character between both playthroughs of the game. I fucking love Rockhawk. I mentioned earlier, Bowser shows up. It's fun anytime he does, locking the fuck in to jump on Bowser's head. This is a fight that happens after the chapter, but we finally get to fight Prince Mush, and it's a really cool, unique fight. Shit is hard because I'm really bad at super guarding, but I love the mechanic of the fight, and it is so damn fun. That's right, this is also the chapter that starts with the Pianta Syndicate, and I think the Pianta Syndicate is so funny. possibly my favorite joke in the game, again, aside from Dupless jumping out the window, is literally in the prologue. And like, I don't have the prologue anywhere in the list. I really wasn't sure where to put it. I almost like kind of counted as part of Petalburg. Is like the two dudes in the background getting kicked by the Pianta Syndicate and just stay down, bro. Like, it makes me laugh every time. And number 1 is Twilight Town. This was my favorite part of the game, and I was so surprised because when I first played it, I had Bogley Woods and Twilight Town as my least 2 favorite chapters. And then playing it again, I was like, why is this actually the best one? What the hell happened? The backtracking isn't great, but it feels tolerable here. Like, it's not nearly as bad as I remember it being. And I genuinely don't know if there was shit that got fixed. It's been like a decade or so since I played Thousand Year Door. I mean, technically it's been like a week, but it was since I played the original version. So I don't know if there were substantial changes to make it feel less ass, or if it's just after 10 years, I kind of over exaggerated how annoying it was. I think the aesthetic is the best in the game. I love how this chapter looks. I think the initial premise of the tolling bell turning people into pigs is really funny. It gave me Dupless. Dupless is hilarious. I'm just going to read my notes word for word, just stare at the screen. I love his design. I love his personality. I love that he calls Mario slick. I love how scarily competent he is by taking Mario's place and stealing his name. I love that he took the letter P off the menu so you can't guess his name immediately if you're replaying the game. Everything about this character is fucking amazing. Vivian is also amazing. Gonzo is my favorite, but Viv is probably second. I can make a good faith argument that she's actually number 1. I love her story. Not just her standing up to her sisters, but wanting to help someone that showed her genuine kindness. Kindness is a very powerful thing, and a lot of people don't appreciate that. I'm going slightly off topic here. Not slightly, I'm talking about Superman. The James Gunn Superman movie comes out in a couple months. I don't think it's either the 4th of July or it's like that weekend. So it's not quite the 4th, it's like the 7th or some shit. Okay, now I actually want to check. What day of the week is the 4th of July this year? We have a calendar. Oh no, the 4th of July is a Friday. So it might actually be coming out on the 4th of July. Anyways, point. I know James Gunn described Soups as he's kindness in a world that considers kindness old-fashioned. And I like that description a lot. I've said it before, and I don't want to get super deep into Superman right now, how Soups is a character I used to find incredibly boring. And I feel like as I've grown older and gained more appreciation for the character of Superman and other Superman media, I have grown to absolutely love Clark because he is just a naturally kind-hearted person. And I like seeing that be appreciated, which is what I really like. Vivian is a kind character, and it is that, like, no, you did something really nice for me when you didn't have to. And then learning also, oh, you're my enemy, and you know I'm your enemy. Why did you still help me? And I do love that during the Dupless fight, once she learns that, she abandons you. She's like, no. You're the enemy. I can't do this. And then partway through comes out like, no. This is the right thing to do. I really love that. And that was the last bit of notes I had. So overall, that was Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I'd say the game is as good as I remembered, but that would be a lie. Clearly the game is even better because of the parts of the game. Like, yeah, Bogley Woods is still at the bottom. I think it's less bad than I thought it was going to be. Twilight Town, a lot better than I remembered it being. And yeah, like my beloved Chapter 5 fell a bit. I still think it's amazing. Poshly Heights, a part that I found kind of annoying, I think is a lot more endearing than I remembered. And just some of the extra shit. Fighting Wacka is ass, but I did it and it's fun. Fighting Prince Mush is ass, but it's so fun and it's so cool. I love that these like new elements are in the game. If you haven't played the original, I'll say this. I'm not particularly recommending one version over the other. I think they're both great. this is probably easier to get because of how expensive GameCube games are. Although the Switch 2 thing happening, from what I've heard, the GameCube market is getting cheaper, so I appreciate that a lot. What else was I saying? Sorry, the point I was trying to get to is, if you can play either version, you're good. The Switch version does have additional content. Like I said, I think some chapters are less ass, so I'd probably recommend it, but it's not like a, no, never play the GameCube version because the Switch version exists kind of thing, at least for me. But if you've never played it, absolutely recommend it. I love the first game. I love Super Paper Mario. I haven't played any of them after. I've heard very, very mixed things, and I feel like saying mixed is putting it very politely. So I don't know how much I really want to, but I'm very, very happy to have played my Saturday morning cartoon.